Okay, the double feature for Smackdown and Rampage. But before I get started, I want to talk briefly, very briefly. This kind of stuff makes me a bit upset, so I don't want to do this too often. But I thought at least I'd give you at least some new information and another connection below in the comments for the article, just in case you guys want to know. They have explained the situation with Jay's daughters, his 9 and his 12. Now, both of them have spinal column damage. They do. Still a big question how far the damage is. His 12-year-old had to be transported from the original hospital she was in with her 9-year-old sister to another one because of the injuries were a little more severe. But she seems to be all right at the moment. But from what was described in the article, she cannot feel anything below her knees. She had one point had no feeling below her waist, but now it has reached to the point where she can have feeling, but it's only up to her knees. She is feeling on and off tingling in her toes, but generally that's as far as they got. Now the 9-year-old, that was the 12, the 9-year-old has a little less damage. She's got pretty much almost the same damage. She also has problems with her stomach. And that is a big mess in itself. But the doctors have said she's okay, just like her older sister. It is still an ongoing thing that's going to take several months. She also has a broken neck. So, both of them are alive. Both of them are generally stable, but they're still in serious condition that is still ongoing day by day to see how things are going to turn out. The article will be a lot more detailed than me. Maybe just Alex and JD may cover this. I was kind of surprised when I saw Dynamite on Wednesday, and there was nothing about the car accident. I'm actually kind of surprised. The vehicle accident that I actually did on my channel, I didn't really see them talk about it, but I could have missed it because I was kind of skipping around in JD's video because I've already missed it. Just Alex, from what I can tell, he didn't check. But if he did do a follow-up, I haven't checked his channel. He might have done a follow-up by now. I don't know, but I'm leaving the article below so you can see it. Let's do Rampage first, then we'll do Smackdown. Did I enjoy Rampage? Wasn't bad. First match, Jungle Boy versus Ethan Page. Now you got Cassidy and you got you also have not a Jeff Hardy, but a Matt Hardy at ringside. They're there because of their contract. Ethan and Hathaway still own their contracts, so they got to do whatever they tell them. But in the end, which was an okay match, I'm not saying they didn't have some chemistry. They were fine. You saw Matt Hardy's hair. As you can see, I got some somewhat long, what's left of my hair, somewhat long hair, and Ethan Page tried to use that to pin. He grabbed his mane to try to hold him in place so he can pin Jungle Boy. What? That was a silly thing to do, but it was an interesting thing to do. In the end, he didn't win. Jungle Boy did. And now Hardy and Ethan Page are going to have a match on Dynamite with Jungle Hook again. I can't stand the name. It sucks. But it is what they're using right now. The question is going to be, and this is for me, since Hathaway and Ethan Page from the firm still owns their contracts, when are they going to have a stipulation to break them away from it and they can be released from the contracts? That's going to be a question. I don't know if it's going to be this year. It should be. They should begin to get rid of this stipulation, particularly that we barely seen it on Rampage or Dynamite. Yeah, we'll see it on Dark and Dark Elevation, but it's not the same. You don't get the full context, particularly if people just don't have the time to look at Dark and Dark Elevation. Just saying. Second match, and this is the match, and I think I will put this in my title. My boy showed up. Willa Mack. Chuck the Thunder himself. Chuck the Thunder showed up on AEW Rampage. Went up against Brian Cage, one of his contemporaries. Yes, we finally see some Willa Mack on TV. Now, I'm not saying that he's going to join AEW. Maybe he might, maybe he might not. This might be just something they let him do. But Willie Willie's always been a great wrestler for his size. You can say whatever you want about Willie. He's not really a great talker, and he's not a bad talker. He doesn't have a great physique, but no matter if he's got a great physique, he knows how to make himself look good, even though he's not like this, like with the super abs, like a Brian Cage. He knows how to make himself look presentable. He knows how to work with what he's got. That's what made him very interesting. You can see that JR actually likes Willie, because it's not about seeing him like someone from the 80s and 90s because of his physique, like a Coco Beware or a Junkyard Dog or anyone else of that time period. He just has something that JR likes. He has a personality he likes. And I can tell you, I love Willie Mack. I just think they could have done more with him than just the X division or trying to get him into the tag division. In the end, of course, Brian Cage had to win because he's going to have a match against Brian. I really wish, this is what I want. I want to see Bryan Danielson versus Willie Mack. This might happen. You never know. You never know this might actually happen. Not because Willie Mack may actually join AEW. Maybe one day they'll do a one-off with him. You never know. That's what I want to see. Now, Leia Gray and Jade Cargill versus what was the name? I forgot the name of these sisters. What were they? The Variety Sisters or the Vanity? There you go, the Vanity Sisters. To be honest, I don't say much about one of my girlfriends. I don't. One it's mainly private. That anything that's happened with her or even my ex-wife, I try to limit as much as I say out of respect. But the way both the Vanity Sisters looked was kind of similar to one of my ex-girlfriends. It was kind of a strange thing seeing that both of them were thick. And to one point, one of the sisters, once she got pinned by Jade, those boobies, which were not too much different than my girlfriend's, ex-girlfriend, almost looked like they were ready to pop straight out of her top. That is something you don't want. And here's the thing for me. I'm not against the Vanity Sisters. They look like they're a brand new team, or at least they're still learning. But they look green. They look green. So that's not a surprise. They kind of look like they're green. That means they've just been in the business for a couple of years. And they're still learning how to be able to do the business, look good for somewhere, particularly in a situation like AEW, probably the first time they've ever been filmed on TV, even if it's recorded, they might have been a little nervous. That's what happens with green wrestlers. If you put them in front of a camera, one, they may not know what to do in front of a camera. Two, they may get nervous in front of a camera. Or three, they may go overboard in front of a camera and they just don't look good. So I'm not surprised. They may be a bit green. That's just my perspective. But Leia Gray, she feels substantial. Now the question is going to be, will she ever get anywhere? You know I feel like everybody in the baddies. No one's gotten anywhere. So the question is going to be, where is she going to go? Now, before the final match, let's talk about what was going on with Eddie and Ortiz. The problem I have here is this. Knowing that Eddie's being enticed by the House of Black, I'm fine with. Knowing they're trying to use Ortiz against Eddie, I'm fine with. Here's the problem. It's barely shown on Dynamite and never shown at Elevation until recently. If it's all been on Dark and Dark Elevation, it pisses me off. Because I don't have the time to look at Dark and Dark Elevation. Heck, I want to watch NWA and do reviews of it, but I never had enough time to do it, or MLW for that matter. So how the hell am I going to see an actual good possible storyline between Eddie and Ortiz if they don't show it on Dynamite and they don't show it on Rampage? In the end, Eddie is told, what are you doing with Julia Hart? Crank it back quickly. Simply put, when the interview happened, Ortiz said simply, Eddie has been tricked. He's being messed with, and they're using me. But the point is, we don't hit women. when it came to Julia Hart, we don't hit women. That's not what we do, where we come from. And he calls out Eddie. Eddie comes out with a chair. And flat out, he says to Eddie, you brought out a chair. You're going to use that on me? Me. I'm not your enemy. You know it. What are you doing trying to hit a woman? You know that's not what we do. Where we come from, we don't do that. Did your father raise you right? Did your mother raise you right? I know for a fact they raised you right. If Homicide knows and knew the way you're acting, he'd be ashamed of you right now. And then he gets blasted by Eddie with the chair. So Eddie's done with Ortiz. Does that mean he's going to the House of Black? It's going to depend on one factor. Will Tony be willing to push an Eddie Kingston other than what he's being done now? Because Eddie has had the chance. That bastard was so over last year. Eddie Kingston was so over when he worked with CM Punk, when he worked with Bryan Danielson, when he worked with Chris Jericho, before all the craziness of the scrum and everything. He worked with them all. And what happened? Nothing. And that is a damn shame that they didn't want to pull the trigger on Eddie. He was hot in 2021 near the end. He was hot from 2021 into 22 halfway in. And then they done nothing with him. Nothing. When he could have been TNT champ. Hell, you could have pushed him into the world title picture. And people would have loved it. And they did nothing. Nothing with Eddie Kingston. When he's one of the best talkers in the company, he was so over with the crowd. He can be a heel and he works great. He can be a face and he works great. And they did nothing. Finally, Action Andretti versus Daniel Garcia. I'm getting Bryan Danielson and Garcia mixed up. I think the reason I'm doing that is because of Action Andretti. Look, I'm glad they're trying to do something with somebody. I have no idea if Andretti is related to a wrestler or not. Maybe he's not. But I can understand why people are not fully into Action Andretti. Not everyone. Some people are, some people aren't. He came out of nowhere, and for some crazy reason, someone in the back, like Tony or someone else, said Action Andretti means something. Action Andretti is great. Action Andretti needs to be on Dynamite and Rampage TV. I'm not saying he didn't work on Dark or Dark Elevation. I'm just saying, out of nowhere, he appears and he beats Chris Jericho. Flat out in the middle of the ring. That means something. But does that translate to the fans truly loving him? After that reaction in Fresno, California, not a lot. Not really. You got a way more strong reaction from Garcia than Action Andretti. But it's understandable. Action is still new in there. They're not going crazy if he's the indie darling, as they would call it, which I don't like calling it like that. If the guy's earned his right in the indie wrestling community and indie wrestling industry, it's understandable. But you're now on AEW. And if no one knows who you are, even if you're very well known in the indie scene, that's not good. That's not good at all. I'm just saying. So, generally speaking, the show was all right. I'm not saying that it was bad, it was good, it was okay. Now, let's go to SmackDown. We had 4 title tournaments. Well, we had 4 tag team title matches for the tournament. And I'm just going to rush through them because they didn't really give us a lot. First one, Sheamus and Drew versus Viking Raiders. I didn't expect the Viking Raiders to but maybe the Viking Raiders should have won. Even though seeing Sheamus and Drew is important, I'm not too fond of that. You bring back the Viking Raiders, but they really don't mean still enough. So Drew and Sheamus did win. It was a good match. Second match, that was... Let me put it to you like this. I'm not going in order. You got Delgado El Fantasma with Wild and El Toro versus the Maximum Male Models. I feel so sorry for the guys who do Maximum Male. I can't even say their names. Look, you got two guys there that could be something if they're given the right character. But they're not. And I knew they were not going to win. Let's be honest. The most important thing there was their manager and Zelina Vega's big booba. Well, her boobas are not that big. She's not a big woman. But they look big. I'm just saying that was more important than the match. Because I knew the Maximum models were not going to win. That's just flat out the truth. That's it. Next match. Now, let's make this very clear. Hit Row versus Los Elefarios. What is it? Los Elefarios? I forgot. I forgot when it comes to Angel Garza and Alberto Carrillo. I think that's their name. I forgot. I haven't seen them in a while, so I forgot. Did I believe they were going to win? No. Did they deserve to win? Yes. I'm going to make it clear right now. I'm not against Adonis. I'm not against BFAB. I don't even hate Top Dollar. But as it stands, Hit Row doesn't feel like much. And you go through the match. You're doing the match. And you continually hear a Michael Cole chewing out a Top Dollar for trying to be fancy, trying to do adding to my repertoire, doing a helo over the top turnbuckle and turn rope, and fucking up, then not letting his ass live it down. And honestly, unless this is going into an angle, they're just fucking with him to fuck with him. And it's showing because when he was basically dealing with, what was, I think, was it, Angel Garza? Or was it, Carrillo? I think it was Angel Garza before he tore off his pants and he slammed him into the table. He's saying, "You got a problem, Cole? You got a problem?" The look in his face, guys, I don't think he's a very good actor. He's not a good actor. The look in his face was somebody who's getting sick of that shit. Honestly. Unless this is a real storyline where they're going to actually make Top Dollar mean something because he's being constantly teased with the commentators and probably the wrestlers in the back. He's legitimately getting annoyed with this shit. Does he deserve it? Heck yes, he does. Because that's part of pro wrestling. If you cannot handle screwing up and making something out of it, you don't need to be in the business. I'm sorry. Look what happened with Titus O'Neil in the greatest Royal Rumble. When that boy decided to book his ass down to the ring and slid on his ass and almost could have busted his head open and he slid under the ring safely, they did not let his ass live it down for at least a year. But he didn't let it stop him. He let that roll off his back. He became basically an emissary for WWE while he still wrestled. Then he stopped wrestling. And they don't bother him anymore because he knew how to take it. We didn't hear any complaints in the back, like from reporting on a Titus O'Neil trying to have an attitude or not. Top Dollar, if he don't learn, because this could still be an angle. But if it is not an angle, guys, understand, if this is no fucking angle, if it is not an angle, and Top Dollar had that look in his face, like someone from the hood who is getting annoyed by some people who are playing with him too much, if that boy don't learn to just let it flow off your shoulders, or better yet, use it, make some requests in creative and say, "Look, I'm getting screwed with by Michael Cole and the rest of the guys. Let me use this. Let me add it to my character. Let me start acting really ambiguous, basically like a bitch, or basically like I'm crazy. I'm going after everybody. Let me just attack everyone, even if I lose. Let me just use it in some way to really get myself over." If he doesn't do that, or counting if they allow it, he's better just leave the company. Because, honestly, that look in his face was an actual look of somebody who's getting pissed the fuck off, of being insulted. I'm just saying. Final, let me see. Let me give it to you like this. When it came to LA Knight versus Jordan Jones, or I think his name is Jones, it was not about the match. It was about the segment of the Firefly Funhouse. And I'm going to be honest to you guys. I'm sure everyone else is loving how this is going with Bray Wyatt. But to be honest, for me personally, the only thing I care about is Uncle Howdy. Firefly Funhouse, don't care about it. Seeing Bray Wyatt go back to the old Firefly Funhouse attitude, not interested in it. Not one bit. Alexa Bliss coming back and possibly being part of the Firefly Funhouse and working with Bray Wyatt again, not interested in it. The person I'm interested in is Uncle Howdy. Now, understandable that they got to give Bray Wyatt something to build into before he's got to deal with Uncle Howdy or team up with Uncle Howdy. So I understand why they're using the Firefly Funhouse. I'm mispronouncing because I don't want to deal with it. I'm sorry. It feels played out. I'd rather see him keep trying to be a good guy and not bring back the Funhouse than anything else. Because if he's going to turn back to the heel with the mask, wouldn't it be more better to have Uncle Howdy be that driving force to do it? And if it isn't, or better yet, the way they're saying from the last time, because I didn't really see what happened in the last Smackdown. I didn't. I saw like a little bit of highlights of it, but because of when I did the pay-per-view, I didn't see it. So, honestly, for me, I'm just not feeling him going back to it. Do I believe it's badly done? No. I want to make that clear. I do not believe it was badly done. It was done fine. I just don't really care for it. Now, what is the next match? Okay, SmackDown, that. Imperium versus the Brawling Brutes. That's the last of the qualifying match. Well, the first round matches for the tournament. For the Usos' number one contendership on SmackDown. Well, you know what I mean. Number one contendership for their SmackDown titles. Do I believe that was the best match of the night? Yes, it was. That was the best match of the night for me personally. Did I like how Imperium beat the Brawling Brutes? Yes, it was done very well. I would have liked to see the Brawling Brutes versus Brawling Brutes, because I wouldn't have minded seeing Sheamus and Drew versus Holland and Pete Dunne, a.k.a. Butch. But it wasn't done bad. I'm not having a problem with it. Finally, we have to deal with two things that I'm going like, really? I'm saying it right now. Really? I know there's a lot more to the show. I'm not going to really talk much about, I'll say this about Cody Rhodes' vid pack. At least it was new, because they kept repeating the same old vid pack. So I'm glad the video package was actually new, showing about him rehabbing, getting better. And I think the reason I just paused and go, if they had shown this a week or two before, it would feel better. But they've been repeating the same thing, so I've not been interested. Now, let's get to one of the two things I hated. One, I think I'll get to the contract. No, you know what? Contract signing. Let's do the Charlotte Flair with Sonya Deville. Why? Why? This is what I hate. Look, they actually, and this is actual criticism. People notice when it comes to Charlotte Flair, she's got way more privilege and entitlement than anyone. So what did they do? Kind of like what I was talking with Top Dollar, that he's being screwed with. Guess what they decided to do? Take what's being stated about Charlotte and use it. Unfortunately, it's not about Charlotte. It's about Sonya Deville. And guess what? The fans over there in Detroit, Michigan ate it up. They were cheering for a Charlotte, and they were booing a Sonya Deville, who was trying to basically be a Charlotte. In the end, what did we get? We get Charlotte blasted from the back because Sonya was only willing to do a match only if her title was up for grabs. And Adam Pearce came out trying to say, no, Deville, Sonya, stop. And that is when Charlotte got blasted in the back. Do I want to see this match again? No. Do I care about Charlotte in her 14th? Remember, this is now 14 title reigns. They're including the NXT title reign she had. They're supposedly re-including it because this isn't like her 11th or her 10th. It's her 14th. They've included the last 2 that she had in NXT. 2. She got 2 reigns. So she's now literally 3 away from her own father, who didn't just have 16 title reigns. He had an unofficial 17th title reign as a world champion of not just the National Wrestling Alliance, but WCW. Really? Do I give a flying fuck? No. I didn't. I didn't give a damn. I still don't give a damn. I don't care about Charlotte. Now, do I believe that her run now as a face is working? Frick, yes, it is working. I can't deny that. I cannot deny that her run as a face is not working. I can't. It is working. But do I care about her? No. I don't care about her. And that shows, excuse me, belch. That shows the weakness in the women's division, no matter if it's SmackDown or Raw. Because they haven't built anyone up that can, when Charlotte was away, other than Bianca, that could do something. What happened to Shayna Baszler? She should have already had a feud with Ronda Rousey. We didn't get that. Honestly, the other women there feel empty because they've barely been booked properly. And now that supposedly Triple H is still controlling it, excuse me, Triple H is still controlling creative, it is taking a long time to rebuild these women up if he can build these women up, which if he is. I'm just saying. Final thing, we got the Roman Reigns segment and contract signing. Did I enjoy seeing Sammy get chewed out by Roman? Yes, because pretty much Roman got sick and tired of people questioning him. He got sick and tired of, he got angry at Sammy by saying, "You're actually questioning me." Sammy just wanted to know the plan because he thought he was supposed to just take care of Kevin on his own. And Roman was saying, "Why are you questioning me? Get the hell out." And I loved how Paulie's Paulie, baby. Paulie made it clear like this. "My tribal chief, what would you rather have?" And I'll crank it back. He said at first, "Look, I've never been in favor of a Sammy being part of the bloodline or even being affiliated, but I trust in the tribal chief. I believe in the tribal chief's wisdom and judgment. But I must say this, tribal chief, with Kevin Owens now a week away, and you're about to do the contract signing now, wouldn't it be better to keep a Sammy by your side? What would you rather have? Sammy outside the castle?" Well, take that back. Would you rather have Sammy in the castle taking a piss in the castle? Or would you rather have Sammy outside the castle taking a piss on the castle? And then later he calls him back and says, "You know what? I apologize." He doesn't say it directly. He says, "You know what? You know I got a temper. This is not your fault. I have a trouble. I get a temper. I try to treat everyone with love and respect. Like, I want people to act like me." And that's one of the reasons why we work together so much, because we're very similar. We're perfectionists. That's what he said. You want to know every aspect of everything, so you do it perfectly, like me. We're perfectionists. We're both the same. That's why we get along. And he says, "I apologize." He says, "My tribal chief," and this is Sammy. He says, "My tribal chief, you know we love you. You know we'll do anything for you." And he says, "You know I'll do anything for you. You know you need anything, I will do it. I give everything to this family and the bloodline. The bloodline comes first. I do not." He doesn't say it, but that's what he means. And once a Roman gets that, he says, look, I need you to do something. I need you to make sure the car is ready. I need you to make sure the plane is ready. I need you to make sure the Usos are ready, because once I sign this damn contract, we are out of here. And he says, of course. He wanted a fist bump, and Roman was willing to give it to him. And he didn't get it in the beginning of the show, but he does get it here. Now, what did we get for the contract signing? We got Roman coming out with Solo and Paulie. And he gets laid out with Solo and the Usos. Sammy was still far away because he was ordered to do stuff. And by the time it was all said and done, before Sammy comes into the picture, he signs the contract. He gives it to Paulie. And in the end, a Sammy comes in. He tries to chase off Kevin Owens. And everyone is still stunned and messed up by a Kevin Owens. What does this mean for the Bloodline? The Bloodline is in a very interesting situation where things are coming to a head. The Usos are reaching a point where they're going to probably have their titles split up, which I don't think they should until WrestleMania. The Bloodline's head of the table being messed with, and I still don't believe he's going to lose the title now, but the way they're making it look, eventually it's going to be Sammy. That's going to be the catalyst of him losing a title. Whether it's going to be Kevin that's going to take it, whether it's going to be Cody that's going to take it, it makes no difference. It is obvious that Sammy is the catalyst of this. It is. I do still believe Jey Uso is going to play some part in how the catalyst is going to start and really begin to break, where either the Usos are going to lose the titles or Roman's going to lose the titles, where it's going to begin. I do believe that you're going to see Jey that's going to notice something's about to happen, and then either he's going to be in Sammy's corner or he's going to be in the Bloodline's corner. That's what I think is going to happen. And then from there, it's going to split, and Sammy will be the goal of the entire storyline. Do I believe it's going to work? Yeah. Sammy's too far over. He is so over, it is disgusting. But they have booked him so well that it's great to see. But here's the question. Is it wise, if this does happen, where finally the titles are going to be broken, where the SmackDown and Raw titles and the SmackDown and Raw tag titles are finally going to be split off? Is it wiser to do it before WrestleMania? No. I know JD does not agree with some of the people saying this is going to be fine if the titles are split. No. Honestly, as it stands, both divisions of SmackDown and Raw do not have enough tag teams to do the work. And as it comes down to it, when it comes to the main title picture, we've seen the same people so many times. Do you actually want to keep seeing a Sheamus back in the main title picture? A Drew back in the main title picture? I don't want to see that. A Kevin Owens in the main title picture? I want to see a Sammy in the main title picture. I want to see a Gunther in the main title picture. I want to see an LA Knight in the main title picture. Those are new faces we have not seen. The question is going to be, will they get there before the end of the year? I don't think so. But it's just me. Peace. And I'm going to try this weekend to see if I can watch maybe NWA or MLW and then just do a video of it. Not like a full review, but something. I want to try and do it this Saturday or Sunday. I hope you guys will want to watch it. Peace.